Hi everyone, it's Lawrence here from the Australian Trade Logistics Corporation. Welcome to today's episode of Trade Australia. Today's episode's all about exporting through a pandemic. We've got so many disruptions to business, but especially global business and international trade. Australian exporters have really faced an enormous amount of challenges. So today's episode is all about not only giving you some tips and advice, but also hopefully some inspiration around how you can leverage what's going on around the world and some other supply chain bottlenecks to possibly tap into some new export opportunities for your business as well. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests today on the episode, and we're going to kick off first and foremost with Sharon and Jamie Thurin. Sharon's here in studio with us, and Jamie's actually joining us live on Zoom in Sydney, via Zoom, I should say, in Sydney. So thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
Great, thanks. Great. Sharon, I'm going to kick off with you. Can you please tell us a little bit about the story about Slim Secrets and how it all came about?
Sure. Slim Secrets is actually one of the first healthy snack brands on the market. We've been around now for 15 years. I launched it at a time where snacking really wasn't something that people talked about a lot, and there weren't a lot of nutritionally balanced snacks on the market. But having worked as a health and wellness coach, I just saw a gap in the market for consumers that were busy on the go and just wanted something that wasn't, full of sugar, that had some protein and fibre to help fill them up, and that just filled them up on the go.
Yeah.
And I just played around with some ideas, and having no knowledge at all of what I was doing, and launched this brand called Slim Secrets 15 years ago.
Fantastic, congratulations. And look, you've got some great exposure, you've got some great celebrity endorsements and ambassadors, if you like, so really great job on those as well.
Thank you.
And the products look fantastic. So
trying to get them to taste good and be nutritionally balanced is a challenge, but I think we've mastered
you've done well. Congratulations. Now, Jamie, I want to cross to you and ask you, mate. So from an exporting point of view, obviously Slim Secrets has done really well here in Australia and overseas. You've got, I think about, is it 4,000 distributors around? I'm not sure now. I've got to check that.
Probably not 4,000 distributors, but a lot of stockists.
Stockists, sorry,
yes.
that's the word I was looking for, stockists. So I remember looking through some of the history there. But Jamie, can I ask you, how's COVID-19 impacted your exports? I mean, what's going on with the business in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been no surprise that export in 2020 has been a lot tougher than it ever has been before. We've certainly seen sales slow down throughout the period. There's been flights have been cancelled. There's been state of emergencies. There've been lockdowns in many countries around the world that we export to. So many reasons why it makes exporting a lot harder. But at the same time, we've also found that many of our distributors in many of our export markets have still found ways to get product from Australia into their markets, whether just to keep business going, to get product on the shelves so that you don't lose ranging, or in some cases, we're actually quite fortunate that a lot of our wholesale channels have still been operating. So whether it's supermarkets, pharmacy, online, they're still going. No doubt we've lost airports and gyms and a few of the other key kind of channels that we sell through, but we've still found that business has continued. As I touched on, air freight has been an issue. Most of our product gets sent from Australia via air freight. So with flights being reduced, that's heavily kind of impacted business. But at the same time, there have been ways to kind of get onto flights, not as frequently, not as cheaply, but we have been able to do it. So it's impacted the business, but we've managed to keep it going at the same time, which is great.
Yeah, great. And that's it's a great credit to you, because you've had to, as that buzzword is, pivot around everything and rejig your supply chain, your logistics from the sounds of it. And it's great that it sounds like you've got really strong relationships with your partners overseas to manage those type of supply chain transformations, really.
Which is a credit to Jamie.
Yeah, that's right. And
it makes it easy when you've got a brand that people want and people they see, I guess, the distribution that we've got locally. And I think for any business wanting to go overseas, you really need to develop that local distribution first, and having the likes of Coles and Woolworths and Chemist Warehouse, Priceline, Newslinks, all those key, major retailers here. That's what's really helped kind of build that platform for international markets to want your brand. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I think that's sort of one of the things I was going to ask you about, some tips and advice, but you've given us a great insight there already. But take us back a little bit, Jamie. How did you go into exports in the first place? So as a business, I know that 14, 15 years ago it launched, and you've been exporting pretty early in the piece. What was it, a reactive thing where people were just sort of looking at the products and said, look, can I buy some overseas, or was it a proactive strategy to go into exports?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of being, proactive and also opportunistic. Mm-hmm. I think certainly I know our Japanese distributors or importers who have become in our top two, Japan's become our top two export markets. I know prior to me joining the business, Mum attended a Victorian government business matching session in Melbourne. Had she not got off her desk and out of the office and gone to those sessions, it would never have happened.
Yeah.
At the same time, some of our other markets, like a Kuwait, which used to be one of our biggest markets, it was an email from a company searching the business or protein snacks in Australia on Google, coming across our brand and responding via email, happened to be the first brand to respond to them. I think they reached out to quite a few companies. Yeah. And from there, you build a 4, 5, 6 year relationship. So, I think in some respects, you need to be proactive. Yep. But as a small to medium business, you also don't have the manpower and the money to kind of go out there and really do some of the things that you want to do. So a lot of it does come down as well to opportunity and things coming to you as well.
Yeah. And I'll just jump in there because in the early days, we actually also attended Austrade events. So I went to Singapore and met with our Singapore distributors. I was introduced to Singapore distributors there, as well as New Zealand distributors. Mm-hmm. So I think it was also, we looked in terms of where we went. Initially it was, let's go somewhere close to Australia. Yeah. And that was proactive. We have had some reactive export opportunities, such as Peru, which is probably not, the first port of call for exports from Australia. So some have been reactive, but proactive initially.
Great. Well, it's a good mix to have. I think the more proactive you are, the more reactive you need to be, because more and more companies will hear about it and people will travel and so forth. And,
but definitely some of the government support. We've been to China with the government. So, we've done quite a lot of really good things with them. So definitely worthwhile to tap into
those. That's great. Yeah, look, we are very lucky here in Melbourne that we've got a great support network through Global Victoria, and Austrade overall for the country is quite supportive. Yeah. But what's next on the export journey, Jamie, before we wrap up for today's discussion?
Yeah, look, at the moment, despite everything I was saying with, the slowdown in export overseas, we've recently, as of last week, we launched our entire range into 130 Countdown stores in New Zealand. So New Zealand's becoming a bigger focus for us as well. We've just signed, we've got a new distribution partner in Hong Kong. Peru's growing. China is kicking, goals again for us now. And really, I guess, trying to focus for us on some of those markets that have been doing well, but we could be doing better. I think we've probably got our foot in quite a lot of markets across many parts of the world. And I think now we just need to really hone in on those, focus on those and really grow them, as opposed to necessarily trying to find more and more markets. Yeah. So it really is, I guess, making the most of what we're doing at the moment and really growing that as best as we can and making the most of where it's going. So lots to look forward to.
No, thanks so much, Jamie, and to you, Sharon, for joining us and sharing your story. And it's a really great reminder for companies that, yes, things are tough at the moment, but you just got to keep at it and keep pushing through. And thanks so much for being part of the Trade Australia show today, and looking forward to having you on. We'll hear more about the journey as that whole global footprint grows and grows.
Thank you.
Right, so thanks so much to Sharon and Jamie for sharing all their insights and wisdom and experience from Slim Secrets. Stick around after the break. We'll be joined by Mo Hamdouna from Mo Works. We've got some really exciting stuff to talk about with him, so we'll see you straight after this break.
You're watching Law and Border. Doing business globally is very rewarding, but it also increases your business risk. Law and Border is here to help you reduce that risk and help you increase success. Every episode, we'll share valuable tips and advice on free trade agreements, commercial contracts, distribution rights, and even managing cargo claims. As one of the huge range of industry shows streaming 24/7 on importexporttv.com, you're now able to stay up to date with every industry sector, every country, and the latest in global supply chain innovations whenever you want. Tune in via your laptop, tablet, or even smartphone via the free IETV app. Importexporttv.com, the world's only business channel dedicated to international trade and global supply chains.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Trade Australia. I'm your host, Lawrence Christoffelsz. Today's episode is all around exporting through a pandemic, and we're trying to not only give some tips and advice, but also give you some inspiration as well, why you should be holding back on your heels. Now's the time in many ways to actually ramp up some of your marketing and export activities. To join us now, we've got Mo Hamdouna from Mo Works. Mo, thanks so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Mo, look, I want to ask you, I mean, we both, I love what you do with your marketing, and you're so impressive with Mo Works as an organisation. How important now, because of the lockdown and people can't travel, how important is digital marketing for business, but especially for exporters?
Digital marketing I believe was always important before the pandemic, and of course during this pandemic. I believe what's the current status kind of just made it an immediate need for exporters and businesses to, if they're not doing it yet, they must be doing it in order to survive and continue surviving. Yeah. There's lots of things getting disrupted, especially for exporters, their supply chain, their agenda, their even their agents or international buyers. Everyone looking for alternative, looking for what they can get now rather than what they need to wait for. So things are changing, and if you as a business exporter own your marketing channels, you'll be able to continue position yourself or keep up to date, keep your consumers up to date with all your updates, rather than rely on the agent to update on your behalf, basically.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, we just heard from Sharon and Jamie from Slim Secrets here in the previous segment, Mo, and they talked about how they really got a lot of export success out of attending trade shows and exhibitions overseas. Now, obviously with COVID, all those travel restrictions that we're facing, no one can attend an exhibition. And as much as there's virtual Zooms and webinars and things like that, that's really not enough to attract more inquiries for exports. So what are some tips and advice? And I know that you're working on some really interesting and amazing stuff. So what would you advise companies how to leverage those digital platforms now as an alternative?
It's interesting that, yes, from my experience and dealing with different exporters, the relay on different road shows or joining international expos was always the first answer they answer when you ask them, how do you find new buyers? With the current time, yes, you cannot join any event, but what's happening on the other side, lots of them are trying to do their best out of virtual events or some virtual expos, etc. Now, where they're not really replacing what's happening in real life in terms of expos, I believe how it's helping is kind of opening exporters' mind to the other way of finding buyers rather than the traditional attending events and expos overseas. So more and more they are getting familiar or kind of understanding and adapting to this way of communication. They're trying their best and pushing hard to keep up to date with their current buyers, to just keep doing these Zoom calls or video calls, etc. Yeah. So now, but what all these solutions, as you just said, are kind of temporary or just kind of bridging the current gap, but they're not really sustainable for the future, which is kind of bring us to what we have been working on as a new product. This product, we were working on it before the pandemic. Actually, we were aiming to launch it for the Dubai Expo 2020.
Right.
as a solution, but now with all what's happening, we just allowed us to speed up the project and see what else can we add to cater for such situation. It's a marketing, export marketing and communication platform. It's allow exporters and buyers to find each other think of it as a social export platform. So it will have its own product catalog, it will have listing as a directory, but other ways of communication, including virtual call, contact management, a way for them to maintain and keep their buyers up to date, etc.
Sure, yeah. That sounds amazing, because that's, as you say, I know you were working on it before the pandemic, but what the pandemic has done is highlighted how important and how powerful such a platform can be, because you can't be everywhere at once, and even to try and invest the dollars to attend trade shows when you can, when all these lockdowns do get eased, it's an expensive exercise, and it takes a lot of time out of your business to be there at every exhibition. So at least with this type of platform, you can get the best of both worlds, where you can still maintain brand power, get that exposure to overseas buyers who may not have heard of your product or service before, but through your promotion of the platform that MoWorks will be doing, you'll be attracting a whole diverse range of viewers looking for Australian products, essentially.
Like when we were thinking of the virtual expo concept back in October to December, one of the questions we were having is how we're gonna convince exporters to actually use such a feature and tell them that it's actually can be beneficial the same way that you attend an event, but way much cheaper, faster, etc.
Yeah, great.
But with all what's happening now, it's every time we present the concept to anyone, it just kind of clicks straight away that yes, this is what we need, this is what we have, when is it going to be available, etc.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And as we just said, Mo, it's not even when there's a pandemic, but these days people are on the phone when they're on the train or on the bus, and you could find an exporter while you're sitting on a train traveling through Taiwan who wants to buy your product, and he's just seen it on your platform. So it's very powerful, and congratulations on that. So tell us about it. When will it go live? How do we get involved, and how do exporters get in touch with you to find out more?
The platform the beta version will go live end of August. We will start onboarding exporters as well end of August. So we'll go live for exporters, not for buyers just yet. We are already receiving and reaching out to different exporters to sign their interest and start collecting the information. We have a live website that is just acting as a free directory so far. You can visit, which is called uexport.com.au, letter UX and port.com.au. Otherwise, the best way, of course, to reach me out directly on LinkedIn. You can easily find me, Mo Hamdouna, and just reach out, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, fantastic. No, I really congratulate you, Mo. I think you've done an amazing job. You're always great at digital branding, and you've taken it to a whole new level now with supporting exporters here across Australia. So congratulations on that, and looking forward to hearing that journey as that grows. And we'd love to have you back on the show in the coming months as well, as you go live and talk to some of the exporters themselves about how it's been beneficial for them. So congratulations again, and look forward to staying in touch.
It's a pleasure to be in this show. Good luck with it. I'm very excited to see what other episodes. It's amazing to finally have a channel that is dedicated for this space. The space for Australia and all around the world. It's growing. There's lots of new challenges, and people need kind of different source of information. So I'm very glad to be on it, and I look forward for my next visit.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Mo. I appreciate those kind words, and all the best, and stay safe. We'll speak to you very soon.
So much for having me.
So you've heard there from Mo Hamdouna from MoWorks. As he mentioned, you export, the letter U, export.com.au, and we'll have the link up on the page for you as well, so you can check that out. Definitely worth looking at, because it these days, as we've talked about, you need to have all the exposure you can, and no better way to do it than the digital platform. So stick around after this break. We're going to be joined by Manish Desai from Impexdocs and how important documentation, process management can be done and achieved properly through new technology. So we'll see you straight after this break.
So, you'd like to sell your products in Australia? Well, Australia is unlike any other global market on Earth. Proper research and preparation is the key for success. You should at least consider in-depth market research and competitor analysis, partner profiling and matching, and a robust distribution and order fulfillment strategy. Your supply chain is critical. Warehousing, freight and transport costs can make or break your success. ATLC can fast-track your Australian market entry success. We offer tailor-made programs to suit your business. Enter Australia the smarter way. Contact ATLC today.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching Trade Australia. I'm your host, Lawrence Christoffelsz. Today's episode's all around exporting through a pandemic. You've heard from Sharon and Jamie from Slim Secrets about how they can actually grow and thrive through exports, even despite the challenges they've had with their supply chain. You've heard from Mo Hamdouna from Mo Works around how the importance of digital marketing is even so much more critical now through the lack of exhibitions, and you can't actually go overseas to do your own sales strategies and export strategies. Now we're going to hear from Manish Desai from Impexdocs. Manish is one of our proud partners for the Australian Trade and Logistics Corporation, and their platform Impexdocs really enables companies to export seamlessly. So it's a really important and valuable discussion around today's topic around how you can export successfully and seamlessly through a pandemic. So Manish, thanks so much for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you, Lawrence, for having me on the show.
Manish, we're really proud to have you as a partner of ATLC, but for those of you who haven't seen Impexdocs for themselves, tell us a little bit about why it's so important and how it's so different to a traditional in-house computer system.
The Impexdocs provides a cloud-based solution for streamlining and export operations of a company. Through a single cloud-based database, an exporter can streamline all the operations required to export from Australia. For example, bookings, order management, compliance, and documentation.
Correct.
It basically streamlines the entire operations with data entry only once, and it updates all the relevant areas, including linking to various government authorities.
Yeah, that's so important now because most companies in Australia, and not just in Australia but around the world, they've had to send their staff home or to work remotely. Now, if you're trying to manage export documentation and your freight forwarding documentation and packing decks, commercial invoices, and you're trying to do that from home, you may not have seamless access to those type of platforms that you've got in-house that are living on a server somewhere. And even if you've got a good internet connection, you've got to go through VPNs and security, and it creates a risk as well to the business as a gateway. So I can imagine that you probably received a number of influx of inquiries because your solution with Impexdocs is all cloud-based. You can work from anywhere in the world. So it really gives a whole range of flexibility and improved efficiency and accuracy. So have you experienced a bit of an uptake of inquiries coming through over the last couple of months?
Absolutely, Lawrence. Right from end of Feb, early March, we started getting a lot of inquiries when the COVID and the lockdowns were just kicking off. People started thinking, how would they operate if they are not in office? Logistics and supply chain were treated as an essential service. However, they were for reasons of people just couldn't travel and people just couldn't be in office. The question the company managers were asking is, how would you do this if you're not in office to the people who were the logistics and the shipping staff? The biggest challenge was in execution. How would you execute an order if you got an order from overseas? Because the shipment, the shipping lines in airlines were still flying, especially shipping lines all through the COVID days and with the pandemic days, were still going over the sea routes. where bulk of the Australian exports happen. But to execute a transaction, there are many more things to do before the goods can be loaded on the container and off it goes on a sea.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of clients contacted us, trying to check with us. Those who are already our clients really realize the benefit of a cloud-based system. A lot of clients who were traditionally not using a cloud-based system realized that VPN and remote desktops are not reliable. They not only got in touch with us, we quickly onboarded them and trained them up, as ours is a very flexible, user-friendly system, to start using our system so that they can operate from home.
Sure.
Now, when you operate from home, it's not only documentation. You're talking of communication with shipping lines, getting the compliance approvals, managing the order, managing your customer communication, doing all this remotely and also from a cloud-based platform. Our platform, our Impexdocs software will help you to do that. Not many other providers out there who can claim to have this solution. Now, we built it on the cloud around 6 years back.
Wow.
We are 30 plus people, 650 plus customers. For the last 3-4 months have been very, very busy for us as we got some more customers onboarded, and we quickly got them onboarded so that their business can continue.
Well,
we deal with all industry verticals, right from dairy, wool, skin, hides, meat, etc. And it's been very busy for us. And also we are very happy to have helped these customers during these times.
Great. Well, I think, Manish, as you said, this isn't anything new for you, but unfortunately, the companies who haven't moved yet to your type of platform or to Impexdocs, who have got all those benefits, this isn't going to go away. The COVID-19 situation, from an exporting supply chain perspective, from all accounts, we're going to have to live with these type of lockdowns, maybe even rolling lockdowns for the next 12, 18 months, to even 2 years. So they need to get on board now. They need to look at how they can optimize their operations in the business. And if you're going to not only maintain exports, but even potentially grow exports over the next couple of years, now's the time more than ever to get in touch with you and say, look, we need to rebuild our operation systems. I know that you guys have got some fantastic payment structures and you really support exporters to onboard them seamlessly. But you guys, as you said, you've been quite busy, but you're still in full swing at the moment. So if an exporter wants to get in touch and needs your help, they can reach out to you now, right?
Yes, so we have two parts to our business. One is the software itself, for them to do it themselves, but they can contact us and we can quickly onboard them. As you very well said, this is going to stay with us for some time, so if they need a system, then they can contact us and we can implement it quite quickly. It hardly takes a couple of weeks and they can be up and running. We also have an outsourced documentation service business where companies use our back office and we do it on their behalf.
Sure.
Again, my team is very experienced, and also we are always in office and are using our own cloud-based platform. We can help the customer if they, due to some reason, have the constraints that their volumes are increasing or they're not able to manage it from where they are remotely located. We in fact have some COVID special pricing also, and that was up to the end of June, but we extended this with things happening in Victoria and where things are going. We extended this up to end of October. So any particular customers would like to contact us, whether for the software or the services. We have not only special pricing, but also a special team dedicated to quickly get them up and running. We have the grain season starting in September, October. We are targeting certain industry verticals who are potentially going to be impacted with what's happening and the way the business model has changed over the last 6 to 9 months. And grain is really going to have a good season this year compared to the last 2 years. So there is some industry verticals we are aiming for, and we are ready preparing ourselves to help them out, as they will definitely need something like Impexdocs.
Fantastic, Manish. Look, I think it's really important for companies to make their operations, especially exports, as accurate, seamless, and cost-effective as possible, and flexible as possible. So, Impexdocs ticks all those boxes. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today. Really looking forward to getting you back on a regular basis and keeping us abreast of all those changes. Some of those industry sectors you mentioned, like grain, coming up is going to be a bumper season. So, but they're just one of those many sectors that you guys cover. So, thanks again, Manish. It's been great to have you on the show. Congratulations with putting in place some support programs for your customers through COVID, with pricing and implementation fast tracking as well. So well done on that. I look forward to speaking again.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thank you for having us on the show. Any of your customers can contact us. The details are on our website, and we'll be happy to assist.
Fantastic. Thanks, Manish. Speak for you very soon. Tap. So hopefully you've all found today's episode really beneficial, insightful, and even inspirational, as I talked about earlier. The pandemic has been tough on everyone. It's been tough on domestic business and especially international trade, but you've still got opportunities, and they say through every crisis there's equal opportunity, no more so than exports. Australia is still really renowned for clean, green, reliable, safe product and produce. There's markets that are opening up because of supply chain bottlenecks for other suppliers. So really now is the time to tap into some of the expertise that you've seen on the show today. Learn from people like Sharon and Jamie from Slim Secrets. Get in touch with Mo from Mo Works, and definitely reach out to Manish and his team at Impexdocs. They can all be a massive help for your business, and they can all help you grow globally faster as well. So thanks for joining us on Trade Australia. Look forward to seeing you again next week, and stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Take care.